This is the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. Hundreds of Army officer cadets come here every year to endure some of the toughest, most gruelling training in the world.
You spent nearly a whole year of your life going through some incredibly intense training. People from all over the world come to commission at our academy.
This is an exclusive look behind the scenes as this historic military training establishment embarks on a radical process of modernisation at a critical time for national security.
It is, of course, the spectre of heavy fighting in Europe that focuses me and my instructors on what we need to prepare them for.
Just sit there.
But after 200 years, the home of the British Army officer is changing.
I just about remember my first name, because we don't really use them here.
You mean like initial, surname, first name? Number?
Amy?
Next one, please. Sandhurst is embarking on one of the Army's biggest gender integration programmes. Awesome, thank you.
I've spent 5+ years of my life working up to this point.
I just love it. I'm kind of a bit patriotic.
To be here and to do this role and knowing that then I'm going to have however many soldiers under my command, I'm just very excited. Thank you very much.
Ramping up female numbers in platoons and trying to make the academy a better place for women.
We always make jokes that our platoon's better behaved because there's women there.
It helps not single you out.
It gives the men a better perspective as well.
I think a lot of people from, my dad's era will always say that the Army's gone soft, but I think it hasn't. It's just prioritised what actually makes people better leaders.
It's so impressive. Like, I drove in my little Corsa with all my stuff in the car, all excited. You drive past that whole front part and it's just this enormous building. So I think that was really exciting.
So when we go inside, please stay for a cup of tea, and you'll go left and you'll be directed down to the arrivals process. 1, 2, 3.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's the start of a new term, and these women are joining 5 platoons.
Hello, welcome to you all.
They'll spend the next 44 weeks at Sandhurst going through some of the most rigorous and demanding training as they learn how to be British Army officers.
Bye, my love. Smash it, yeah? All you can be.
I don't think I could stop shaking, to be honest. I was very nervous. Really hard to just take in where you actually are. You see photos of the big building of Old College. If you type in Sandhurst to Google, that's what you see.
I think your surname is?
Sim, S-I-M.
Do you know what? I like to see the students arriving as scared rabbits and then 12 months later coming up the stairs as a commissioned officer. Dun, 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 you're in the Army now. Oh, if you care to go left, and parents and guardians straight through for a cup of tea and a coffee.
Crown princes come here to commission. I think we've got something like 27 nation states all sending people here. It is considered the best leadership academy in the world.
But for over 170 years, Sandhurst was a male-only institution. In fact, it wasn't until 1984 Sandhurst first admitted women. And today, Kira Dent is following in the footsteps of those first female cadets and her own military family.
My dad joined 3 para. He loved it, loved everything about his career. My granddad commissioned. He was my absolute idol. My mum joined as well at 17. She joined the only thing she could have joined, which was the WRAC. She's aware that times have changed, and I think she would have been uncomfortable me joining had the respect for women been the same as when she was in.
Platoon 5? Yes. Oh, hello again.
Previous platoons at Sandhurst were around 10% female, but under the new trial here, female numbers are being boosted to a critical mass of 30%.
So the idea of the trial here is to load as many platoons as we can to 30% servicewomen. That takes away the token aspect and hopefully makes them an invisible part of the team.
Everyone's going to be different, but I tend to gel with women better, in terms of friendship. So For me, I'd probably struggle more if there weren't as many.
Good afternoon, welcome.
And what do the male officer cadets think about having so many more women in the platoon?
It is a lot better in a mixed team, I must say. There's girls at the front, there's girls at the back, then there's lads at the front and there's lads at the back. So you don't notice it as such.
There are some lads that very much don't want females in the army, but I don't have an issue. I think if as long as they pass all the tests that are put in front of them, then there's no reason they can't do just as good a job as a male.
I think mostly for me it's the uniform. Yeah.
What is it about the uniform?
I don't know, I just love it. I'm kind of a bit patriotic.
What one you do is, female hats are the ones on the left, male ones on the right, so try these on, let me know what size you get.
You look like a bus driver.
Across the army, women's uniform has been a hot topic.
If for whatever reason they don't fit, then ultimately.
I feel like there's a lot of stigma as well about, you know, women not feeling comfortable in their kit, but definitely up top they are making those alterations and they are really trying to make us feel comfortable and fit in and feel like we're not drowning in our clothes, which is obviously positive.
It's supposed to be not to the point of discomfort, but as long as it doesn't fall off your head. You know what I mean? 56.
The officer cadets get combats to wear in the field, dress uniform to wear on parade, and everything in between.
Thank you.
Right, any ladies got skirts on? If you come over, hop on the box for me.
At Sandhurst in the 80s, skirts were so tight, female officers weren't allowed to march on parade.
Just bring that knee, like that.
40 years on, and it's a top priority for the master tailor.
So you're kind of looking for about the centre of the knee because they've got to lift the legs thigh parallel like the gents, and if it's lower it catches and actually restricts it.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do yet because I think the football's going to be mainly lads and I don't really want to die.
Abigail Assis hopes to join one of the Army's technical corps. But first, she needs to learn the basic infantry skills which form a key part of officer training at Sandhurst.
I was like, you know, like, why do I have to do this? But it's for a purpose. Like, everyone's a soldier first, so I have to know how to do it, because at the end of the day, if World War III breaks out tomorrow, I'm probably going to be in a trench somewhere.
And being ready to fight means not being held back by ill-fitting uniform.
I think you can definitely tell that times have changed. I think it's really good. I mean, in a job where a lot of it's physical and you need the kit to fit right for you to be able to do the job properly and not get hurt, it's just about time, really. So.
Despite improvements, not all aspects of women's uniform have been brought in line with the men.
Why did we get handbags?
Don't know.
Imagine going on parade
with a little handbag.
Marching with it. Yeah, about 10, just like...
Wheel it around.
The person behind you.
Yeah.
Knock them out.
You kind of realise that this isn't, you're not playing around, it's not a simulation, you're actually in the real military, so that's very exciting. I know a lot of us are really excited today. We're going to try it all on, make sure it all fits, but it's a very big day, it's only day 3, but it's getting quite real now.
But improving the uniform and boosting female numbers isn't just about modernisation. The critical mass trial has its roots in tragic events at Sandhurst.
A female officer cadet has been found dead at the prestigious Royal Military Academy Sandhurst.
Well, the MOD has confirmed that an incident has taken place here at Sandhurst that has resulted in the death of a female officer cadet.
I think all of us at that time recognised that we'd had failings, systemic failings, in the delivery of safe and tough training.
We certainly didn't kill Olivia, but we failed to catch her when she fell, and that's a tragic story.
The inquiry that followed described a complete breakdown in welfare support and a culture of inappropriate relationships between instructors and cadets.
It was an institution under rightful scrutiny. It was an institution that was being forced to look at itself, both by the Army and the nation.
Both here at Sandhurst and the wider Field Army were really keen to engage and to stop this from happening again.
It's in this climate Sandhurst is trying to improve conditions for women.
It's definitely something we've talked about as females, and, you know, hearing that, you know, did you ever think, oh, maybe the army isn't for me? I mean, obviously I wasn't here in the past, but it feels like they've responded really well.
A lot of drill. Yeah, a lot of drill.
1, 2, 3, 1. Drill is a pill that should be taken twice a day, or a swig of Brasso to wash it all down.
Left, right, left, right.
Drill is the foundation of British Army discipline, and it's here at Sandhurst the cadets must learn to master it.
I personally love drill. It's kind of like an art.
Left, done. 1, 2, 3, 1.
I think if you don't say the timings in your head, then it's hard to get it right.
And everybody will associate Sandhurst with drill. There will be people that state that drill has no further place within the army. I would argue that point.
Like this, and then you should be coming like this one, and then you continue moving. Happy?
Roshan Gurung is the platoon colour sergeant.
I love him. He's so good. I think within the first week he made a comment about he would be dad for the next 14 weeks.
And one of Colour Sergeant Gurung's many responsibilities is teaching 5 Platoon to march.
There were a few challenges because they are overthinking that they are doing some drill rather than just try to be natural.
Turn, check, in, left, right, left, forward. 2.
Turn.
Why do you
say right? Left. Turn. Check.
Yeah, smash it.
Yeah.
Right. Turn. Turn. Oh. Turn. I did it!
For drill practice, the instructors try to put shorter female officer cadets at the front.
When we are striding out and trying to keep up with the males, it can hurt a little bit on the hips and the knees, but they are trying to put all the women in the front of the platoons so that we go off our steps, which is really helpful.
And having more women in the platoon can give male officer cadets greater understanding of the different demands drill places on the female body.
So at one end, you'll have the shortest people in the company, like me. If you're wheeling opposite to the short people, they have to step out a lot further. Sometimes you see people like laughing because they think it's funny. If you have less women, then they don't understand it, whereas if you have more, then they might see that it's a generic problem. It's not just someone making an issue out of nothing.
And when drill goes well, it's a proud moment for everyone.
It's cool as hell. Like when everyone's in line and you're like, yeah, this is dapper. You see it on the camera and then you're like, I'd love to do that, and then you're actually doing it. Oh, it's a really good feeling.
But there's more to soldiering than looking smart on the parade square.
Troops, love the nature. Sit down on the nature. If you love the nature, you'll enjoy your time out in the field. Okay, if you try to resist from the nature, okay, guess what? You're not going to win. So embrace it, love the nature.
Exercise self-reliance is the first taste of life in the field for the 5 Platoon cadets. They must spend the next 5 nights living under canvas and practicing survival drills.
So camouflage for you, right, is going to be your next best friend. Yeah, so we need to create our own little base layer. And for me today, and for what we always usually do, right, is use a green as a base layer. You're going to buddy up between you. You're then going to ham each other up to make sure we can break down these features. Take your glasses off as well if you need to. Break the features down on our face.
I can currently fill in the holes. Can you push over to there?
For Officer Cadet Holly Plummer, the exercise is a welcome chance to experience a leadership role.
It's exciting to get on the ground and practice because you get into those command posts and you're being assessed, and it helps highlight for you, kind of affirm what you know and then see what you need to work on. So I think it's quite a rewarding process.
So every evening, just make sure that you're getting out of your wet kit and getting into your dry stuff to get into your sleeping bag. Like I said, think of it as pyjamas. You wouldn't then get up in the morning and walk out to work in your pyjamas, would you? No, because you'd look like a proper melon. So to that end, make sure that every time you get up of a morning, you're still not wearing your dry kit, you're transitioning straight back into the wet stuff. It's a cardinal sin to compromise your wet kit.
But for Holly, practicing getting in and out of wet clothing was a major low point.
We had the wet and dry drills last night because they put us in the stream over there at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we had to do that. It's good practice, but oh my God.
Yeah, it's definitely like the biggest mental test.
I'm just told us I have to go and stand in a river. So it's just like, it's really good practice for obviously emotional regulation, but I didn't say you were snapped. Like I was just like, why?
She was like, I just don't want to do this. And then it was good because like me and some of the other girls, we all formed like a cuddle huddle around her to just get her spirits up. When you go on exercise, there'll be like different moments where people will just switch off and they're like, this is horrible. But then that's when you have to like take those moments to uplift people.
Remember communication, speed and aggression, firing aim shots.
Exercise self-reliance is also one of the first opportunities the cadets have to fire their weapons.
It sort of gets the adrenaline going a little bit more than compared to when we're just practising it without actually firing. Sort of brings the realism, especially when you've got someone to shoot at.
Because I think this is what most of the people join for, not ironing in camp. It's running around, reliving all your childhood fantasies of guns and sticks and grenades and stuff.
Even at this early stage of training, the possibility of war is on the minds of the officer cadets.
Sometimes we get really deep conversations about, some of us could be on the front line. In 10 years' time, all of us might not still even be here through the job if we do go to war, especially. These are real conversations that we have.
Next time, 5 platoon are pushed to their limits in the Welsh Mountains.
I just needed to make that point of this is what quitting looks like right now.
And the cadets must learn how to be perfect hosts at a formal army dinner night.
Are you interested in Love Island at all? No?
Thanks for watching. For more from Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.